RHOC. Shannon Beador says ex-John Janssen suing her is extortion. He's a monster. Shannon storms Beador is breaking down after ex-John Janssen threatened a lawsuit against her. On the group trip to Napa Valley in the Thursday, September 5 episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Shannon revealed that it was her deadline to reach a settlement with John before he sued her for $75,000 that he claimed was a loan. Explaining that she countered and offered half that amount, Shannon began to cry, saying John wouldn't accept. "I just feel like it's extortion," Shannon said, noting that John recently sold his share of his insurance company and didn't need her money. What is most important to John is people think he's a good guy, and this is step one. Try to make Shannon look bad, and he's really taking drastic steps. In a statement to People, John claimed he was generous throughout his relationship with Shannon, adding, "This $75,000 loan was specifically marked as money that Shannon knew was expected to be repaid. I never wished to pursue legal action, but after exhausting every effort to have Shannon return the money, she forced the matter to be sent to court," he continued. "I only seek to finalize the last remaining item preventing us from fully closing this chapter. All I want is for Shannon to return the money she owes." Later in the episode, Alexis Bellino, who is now engaged to John, sat down with Heather Dubrow to discuss whether she should have a conversation with Shannon. Heather advises her not to, but Alexis says she doesn't know what else to do. "I get that Shannon feels uncomfortable," she said. "I just want to say what we want to say, put it to rest and move forward. But I don't think that is ever going to happen. We have to figure it out in this group. That's all there is to it." Later in the episode, Katie Janela, Emily Simpson, Gina Kirschenheiter, and Shannon went to the spa to decompress. When Emily suggested Shannon pay John the full $75,000 to take the stress of a lawsuit off herself, Gina accidentally let it slip that Alexis had incriminating videos of Shannon. "From the night of my DUI, a panicked Shannon asked, 'What are the details?' I don't even remember." When Katie explained that the videos allegedly showed Shannon nearly running over John's daughter, Shannon started sobbing. "You know what, you guys, I am working so hard on myself," she said. "He is trying to take me down. I'm so angry right now. He's a monster," she added through her tears. Minutes later, Katie and Emily left for a spa treatment while Gina waited for Shannon to call her lawyer. When she returned, she revealed she told him to pay John whatever he wants. "I hope he rots in hell," Shannon said to Gina. "I swear, I hate him." After going to her room to take a nap, Heather Dubrow went to check on Shannon before dinner. When she found Shannon distraught, Shannon explained that she had no idea there was a video Alexis had been talking about with the other ladies. "It's just every day it's been something," Shannon said. "He wants to clear his name, and I'm not lying. I'm not lying about John." Recounting the night of her DUI, Shannon shared a memory that seemed strange to her. She had told a friend weeks after that the crash happened 3 to 5 seconds max after pulling out of John's driveway, and her friend had suspicions about John's lack of response. "My friend said, 'Well, I find it strange that John didn't come running after you,'" she recalled. "Do you really believe in your heart he did not hear that?" Heather questioned, to which Shannon replied, "I don't know. I looked back on my text messages, and I didn't remember that I did this. But I took a photograph of myself, and I sent it to John right after midnight," Shannon claimed. "And at 1:40 or 1:30 in the morning, he texted me and said, 'What the heck is going on? The cops just brought Archie here. Where are you?' Heather asked. He just ignored the picture. And I guess just went to bed," Shannon concluded as she showed Heather the image of her bloody face from the accident. In statement to People, John denied Shannon's recollection of the events that followed her DUI arrest, claiming, in order to make sure Shannon would have someone there for her the moment she was released. I waited outside the jail for hours before bringing her home to care for her. John alleged that he bathed Shannon, fed her, and brought her to her medical appointments, while tending to her every need, and looking after Archie for 10 days following her arrest. Although we were no longer together as a couple the night of her DUI, and the traumatic events my daughters and I endured were still fresh in my mind, it was important to me that Shannon have someone to look after her, he shared. Shannon Beador had weathered plenty of storms during her time on The Real Housewives of Orange County, but nothing could have prepared her for this. Legal battles weren't new in the Bravo universe, but having her ex, John Janssen, take her to court, that was a whole new level of betrayal. Sitting in her Newport Beach home, a glass of chilled white wine in hand, Shannon scrolled through the latest headlines. Shannon Beador's ex sues her for unpaid loan, claims she owes big money. The words jumped off the screen, taunting her. A loan, she scoffed, slamming the phone onto the marble countertop. Is that what we're calling it now? Her closest friends had warned her that John wasn't as perfect as she had wanted him to be. He had swooped into her life at a vulnerable time, playing the role of the ever-supportive boyfriend. But now, here he was, trying to squeeze money out of her under the guise of a so-called loan. "This is extortion," she muttered under her breath. Shannon had never been one to back down from a fight, especially not when her integrity was on the line. She picked up the phone and dialed Tamra Judge, knowing her best friend would have the perfect reaction. "Hey, Shannon, what's up?" Tamra answered cheerfully, oblivious to the storm brewing. "Oh, just another day of being sued by my ex," Shannon said dryly. "What?" Tamra shrieked. "That, monster. I never trusted him, Shannon. Never. And now he's pulling this. Oh, honey, we need a game plan." Shannon sighed, rubbing her temple. "He claims I owe him money, that he loaned me all this cash over the years. But Tamra, I never asked for a loan. If anything, I covered so many of our expenses. I took him on trips, paid for dinners, and let's not forget, he lived a pretty cushy life being with me." Tamra wasn't having it. "He's trying to tarnish your name, Shannon. Classic bitter ex behavior." Shannon took a deep breath. She knew Tamra was right. John had been charming at first, making her feel safe after her tumultuous divorce from David Beador. But cracks had started to show. The silent treatment when he didn't get his way, the subtle jabs at her insecurities, the way he always seemed just a little too invested in her finances. She had ignored the red flags. And now she was paying for it. Literally. As she mulled over her next steps, she knew one thing for certain. She was not going to let John get away with this. She had rebuilt herself after David. She had picked up the pieces of her life more times than she could count. No man, certainly not John, was going to take her down. A knock at the door startled her out of her thoughts. It was Emily Simpson, another confidant, and someone who knew a thing or two about legal matters. "He's trying to scare you," Emily said bluntly as she settled onto Shannon's couch. "But he's got no case. If there was no written agreement, he doesn't have a leg to stand on." "That's what I thought," Shannon exclaimed. "He's just doing this to humiliate me." Emily nodded. "It's a common tactic. And let's be real, he knows how much your reputation means to you. He's banking on you settling just to make it go away." Shannon's jaw tightened. "I'm not settling." Emily smiled. "Good, then we fight." Shannon took a deep breath. She had faced down ex-husbands, public scrutiny, and her own inner demons. If John thought he could take her down with a frivolous lawsuit, he had another thing coming. The next morning, Shannon walked into her lawyer's office with newfound determination. She wasn't just going to fight, she was going to win. And as she exited, paparazzi waiting outside, she flashed a confident smile. "Shannon, any comment on John's lawsuit?" One reporter called out. She paused, adjusting her sunglasses before delivering the perfect response. "He's a monster, and he picked the wrong woman to mess with." With that, she walked away, ready for the next battle. Because if there was one thing Shannon Beador had learned over the years, it was that she was stronger than anyone ever gave her credit for.